Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today is part 2 of making a saber. Now, last video we made some decent progress. We spread it out along more towards the line because originally it was more spread out here in the upper area, and now we finally got some more movement going down here. But I would like to maybe spread it out a little bit more evenly and maybe just a little bit more along down in this episode. And then we might get to some smoothing. You never know. Hopefully, of course. And I certainly hope the audio works out a lot better this video. I got a mic. Took a little bit to come in. That's kind of why I took a little while on making this video. I hope the audio comes out really well. But let's get started.
I absolutely hate it when it starts fogging up my glasses. Most frustrating part. Every now and again it'll happen. You'll get used to it. If only this thing would just situate. I'll set it down for now. I'm not gonna fidget with it. Now, today I'm gonna start out with spreading out a bit more on some parts that I missed towards the upper area before we make our way down. And when you're forging, do not forget to have a well-ventilated area. Sometimes it'd be nice to have a utility fan, such as this. Of course, I won't be using it while filming because it might mess up the audio. Seriously, these glasses get fogged up real easily. Remember, when you're spreading out metal, flat side. Certainly hope everybody had a pretty good Christmas. I got a few things of camping gear. Really nice, really nice. What's it called? Sleeping bag and a cooler too. Really solid. I'm pretty happy for it. It's great. Can't wait to actually take it and try it. Heck, I might even make some videos like the Outdoor Boys. That'd be pretty fun. Of course, that probably not happen for a while, but it'd definitely be pretty fun. Seems to be finally spreading out pretty nicely. Now, when you're actually hammering on a piece and you're wanting to spread out that spot, and you're doing the flat side, obviously, but I'd suggest that you try and I'd suggest you would try to use about like the bottom half. Well, the whichever half ends up making contact with the metal. That way, it's like a lot more precise. Because if you're hitting it with the full thing, you're not going to be hitting it the way you really want to. It's just it probably won't spread as nicely as you would like it to. Of course, it's not about making it look pretty just yet. It's about getting it done. Because if you hit it center on and the metal, just like the whole piece fully fits the entire piece of the hammer, you're going to end up spreading both ways. Because you're not hitting the very specific spot that you need to hit. I hope this episode we can actually get to the smoothing part on the piece of metal using the rounded side, because flat side's moving, round side is smooth. If we do actually get to the part to where we're rounding everything out, it's all nice and smooth. Next episode, or maybe even this episode, depends on how long I'm going to have it be. We might even be able to bring out the wire brush, clean it up a little, maybe get to grinding on something. That's a very big maybe. Even when the metal looks like it's losing all of its heat and all that red color is leaving, don't forget it's still able to be moved. You could still hammer on it and get some progress done. So don't waste heat. Because when you're doing this kind of stuff, when you're forging, your goal is to get it into the shape you want it and to get it done in as little heat as possible. Because I'm pretty sure it affects the hardness of it, because it just sucks out all the carbon. And so I've seen people with coal forges, okay? Not gas forges, coal forges. So it's basically like a big fire, big stack of coal, and they take the metal and they shove it right down to the bottom of the fire, where it's like the most hottest. Thinking, hey, this is going to get it a lot hotter and at a lot faster of a time. Which they're correct, yes. But it it sucks out all the carbon and it just ruins the metal. It just completely ruins the metal, because carbon kind of makes this, well, useful. I'm pretty sure it really mostly affects the brittleness. I'm not entirely certain. I haven't taken any classes on this type of stuff. I got all my stuff from research on the internet. some YouTube videos, you know, Google says this, which you can figure out a lot of stuff that way, especially when it comes to the beginner type of stuff like this. But if you really want to go in depth with a lot of it, you're definitely gonna have to look at a lot more complicated stuff. In the last episode, I was talking about. I know it's probably a bit difficult to hear me. I hope you put it on captions, but I was talking about the theorems, behind heat treatment, how they're all so complicated. I don't understand a bit of it, but like, if you ever manage to understand any of it, or anything, just understand at least one thing of it, please tell me. I would love to know. Because I would imagine it'd be very helpful. The more you hammer out your metal, the thinner it will get, obviously. When you're like moving it outwards. So when it's like curves like that, do not worry. You can easily flatten it, fix it. It really won't affect it that much. And that's just because it's a lot thinner, and you're putting pressure to a specific spot, so it kind of forces it upwards in the other spot. One thing I'm definitely going to end up having trouble on later along down the road is the handle. I haven't exactly done a handle that isn't made out of metal, so you and I are going to end up learning along the way. So I might look up some YouTube videos. But this little piece of wood, I plan on being the handle. It's nice, decent size, definitely fits. I would definitely have to sand it, cut it in half, all that special stuff, which we'll get along to down the line. If you really are like super interested in this stuff and you want a list of some things, I could make a separate video on that for some of you guys. Just comment down below if you want that. I could easily help you out there because it took me like a while to figure out what exactly I need. I would like to give my thanks for all of the subs. Like, I didn't expect to have that many subscribers, especially with just the one video. Thank you so much. It blew my mind the moment I saw it reach the number that it did. Absolutely insane. Although, sure, it did get like a crap ton of views. I would ask if you, I completely forgot to ask you guys last video if you could drop a like, a subscribe, click the bell, share it, obviously. Tell anybody that you know that might be interested in it. Or if they're not, you never know if they know someone that you don't that is interested in this stuff. It'd be pretty nice if you guys could do that for me. not looking for this channel to get like super famous, but I'm very glad for all of my subscribers. It's just so great. It looks like we're just about done with spreading out the metal on this thing. If you see some of these, some bumps kind of like that, kind of annoying, kind of like peaks, like teeth on a saw, just not sharpened. Those are a little bit annoying. Those are what happens when you used just too little of your hammer. If you were striking at it and you hit it like that, with that little bit of your hammer, it would cause that. That's why you want to use specifically half of it. It just spreads it out a lot nicer. Because the full thing just completely just spreads it both ways, and you don't want that. Okay, we want a tang. We want a tang. I don't know if I've explained a tang to any of you guys. Probably haven't. So a tang, oh, don't want to drop that. A tang would be this. The backbone, the spine. The spine would probably be the best way to say it, but basically, you wouldn't exactly have a full thing, a full-blown knife or saber without a tang. I'm sure I've got a scrap knife around here somewhere that I made. I'm gonna try and find it, show it to you guys. If it's in here or on the workbench, I have no idea. Ah, there it is. So this I made from like the same piece of metal as the saber, but you can see how this is the sharpened side, okay, and this is the backbone. Without a backbone, this thing it just wouldn't make sense as a knife, now would it? It'd be useless. I don't know how else to really explain this, but just consider it as a human. Okay, you need a spine to stand. You need a spine in general, so you don't become like a weird meat slob slime thing. I don't know, but just imagine it like that. Okay, I'm not saying that this thing would be like a really weird sludge without its spine. I'm just saying it'd become completely useless because the backbone is the non-spread out part. The tan. Uh, it's just a little bit complicated. Sorry if I'm having trouble telling you guys what it really is. We gotta spread out these little nicks, the ones that look like teeth. That way, it grinds out a lot easier. We don't have to grind out too much of this metal. Sometimes you might want to just flatten this so it doesn't become too much of a problem trying to fit it in the forge. It's a bit of a pain. I must say, this is coming along really nicely. I mean, come on, look at that. It's not finished. It doesn't look super pretty, but it's pretty badass. You can't lie. I'm real happy with this so far. Of course, it gets a little bit more and more annoying to put into this thing. The more curved it gets, because I end up hitting the insulation, kind of burning it, cutting it up. Real big pain. Now, with the backbone of this thing, with like like a double-sided sword, not a saber, just a normal straight sword. you don't exactly see the tang being on one side where the blade is, but it's like directly in the middle. That way, it's center mass, I guess. Really, it's kind of the best way I can explain it. It's tough. I'm sorry if I can't fully explain it. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there that says how a tang works or explaining the full parts of a knife or a sword. And keep in mind, this is my first sword. I have not made a sword before. And I'm glad I'm doing a saber. Saber's probably the easiest I could possibly do without this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to grind out those little mountain peaks. They don't seem to want to work for me. Probably not going to get anything going for it. Just the spot right here. I'm just going to have to completely grind off. Which, I mean, some of you may think, oh, that's not that big of a deal, but it kind of is. It's a big pain. I might end up having to grind off more than I need, than I think I would need. Looks to me that we just got to, oh my gosh, this thing fit. Looks like to me that all we've got to do really, before we get to doing anything more than just hammering at it, is spread out a little bit more towards the bottom and then round it all out. Well, smooth it all out. I shouldn't really say round it all out. Remember to keep your workplace nice and clean, okay? Sometimes you just have to swipe it on the floor. Oh, one thing I've definitely noticed, if you've got yourself one of them like magnet roller things, I was having to like rearrange everything, and I had a crap ton of these scales in one spot, so I just decided to run it over, see if it would collect any of it. And it didn't exactly collect the scale, but like, oh my gosh, look at all that iron. It is insane. Like, look at that stuff. I mean, if I had a crucible, I'm sure I'd find a way to do some of this stuff. With some other aluminum cans or something, I don't know. But I kind of like making things from just from a separate piece of metal, rather than melting it all down, putting it into like a cast. I just feel like it's a lot more reliant, I would say. One thing I definitely suggest, just because it helps me remember where it is while it's super hot, make sure you mark where you want the blade to end and the handle to kind of start. It's pretty handy. This thing gets quite annoying to try to fix every now and again. I'm sure it'll all be worth it in the end, or it'll look so so bad, but it doesn't really matter to me. This is pretty fun. Seriously, if you haven't exactly thought of doing this as fun, you definitely should. If you really, I know I've said it a lot of times, but if you really are interested in it, just ask me. I can help you out. I know I'm not like a super genius at this stuff. I'm really just a beginner. I've been doing this for about a year. At least I know partially of what I'm doing every now and again. You know, but I could help you make a list. What might be the most cost effective? You know, I think it might be time to start smoothing things out. If you need a grinder, definitely don't get the cheap kind I got. Super tiny, super big. Uh, I got, where is it? Yeah, this. I'm sure all you know what this is. Uh, Obviously, you can change the attachments from cutting to grinding. This has helped me out when that has failed. Do not cheap out on a grinder. This thing has flown off more times than I can count. All right, and it just grinds away at itself. It literally grinds away at itself if you're putting too much pressure on one spot. You can just like the slightest little bit too much, it just starts going away. Um, this thing was a huge pain to try and change whenever your sand belt ends up getting fully used. This, because it's so tiny, it's just so difficult to try and like maneuver all of this stuff out. So definitely don't cheap out on a grind. If you, I mean, I would suggest getting files. I've got files. Files are very handy, especially if you want it to make it look just a little bit finer. Don't be afraid to choke up on the hammer. I got the metal super hot, but if you really need to get it like in there, choking up on it makes it a lot finer, easier to maneuver, and it just really gets it in there a lot easier. Now, when I was getting my pliers, no, tongs, I should really say, I bought them off of, I don't know, Amazon, Etsy, I don't remember. They came in this cardboard box with some weird Chinese letters on it. I was like, oh, either they're going to be absolutely terrible or they're going to be really good. I still can't tell, to be honest. I still can't tell. Sometimes when you're using them, the heat will kind of cause some of this stuff to expand, so it just gets a little bit more difficult to open it. I'd suggest, after it cooled down, toss a little bit of WD-40 on it. I haven't gotten the device. I haven't had a vice here until about a week. I got this thing from like an Amish scrap heap place. They have their own little store where they have their goods saved. And there was a lot of vice anvils. So I decided to take one. Because, really in need of one. It was surprisingly cheap. We were there getting rid of, or soda cans, I should say. Um, if you do get a single burner and you end up using longer pieces of metal, probably get something like this for a stand. It's helped me out a lot. I'd recommend it that way you don't end up burning yourself while holding it there in place. I'm sure you get like really bored just standing there holding it. Flames just making you sweat like crazy. That fire should be great. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I cut out the insulation. I think that's kind of causing that. I hope I don't end up getting like some sort of cancer. I don't want that to get burned. Yeah, if that hose ends up catching fire, the whole place is just gonna blow up. Not even kidding. It's just like it's directly connected to my propane, and this being the shut-off valve, it shuts off at here, not the whole hose. Okay, not unless I turn off the propane itself. If this gets fully melted and gas starts spewing out, it's just gonna blow the thing up. I'll just be dead. I'll be laying here dead. Video's not gonna even stop either. Not until someone comes out here. They're like, "Oh my god, what happened? That was such a loud explosion," and then they'll just like see that. Or I'll be like, I don't know, one of those veterans who get Purple Hearts with shrapnel in my chest or something. I survive. Then I'll switch to coal. Okay, then instead of propane. Oh yeah, that's coming along real nice. Um, I certainly like to have one thing that's very useful for cameras. Obviously, this will carry you pretty well. I think it's just very handy to have different kinds of hammers. The ball peen's nice. Got a sledge in the other part of the garage. A few other flat-headed hammers, real nice, real light. I mean, I wouldn't use them for this, but I'd probably use them if I'm trying to like punch something. I wish I had my own signature punch, some sort of symbol on it, like hey, this is mine. This is special. Put it on everything, and then I could probably start selling it. Starting to really come along nicely. I get it. It doesn't exactly look entirely the way you would imagine a saber to look, but it's not finished yet. I haven't grinded it out. I haven't made the. Oh, that's great. See that? Maybe from this side. No, you can't. One of those peaks is starting to kind of like split off. So now I'm definitely gonna have to grind that out. That's gonna be annoying. But it's coming along really nicely. I think we might end the video here after this final heat. That way we don't end up wasting propane. I think I'll just turn it off here because it's still really hot. It doesn't dissipate that heat for a real long while. Yeah, even now the metal is getting hot. Kind of want to make a cast iron skillet now. I don't know where I'm gonna get the iron. Well, probably not cast iron skillet because I don't have a crucible. More like a forged iron skillet. That'd be pretty nice. But I'd be like really small though. Now, keep in mind, sometimes you just have to grind. Just grind it. You won't be able to get all of those hammer marks gone. You just might have to grind it. But it's definitely coming along nicely. Remember, this is the handle. Decent size, too. How we have, like, room. I will have to, like, put a mark here to symbolize this is the ending part. And then this will, like, curve up a little. I don't know. Just search up a video of, like, a machete or a saber. You'll see what they'll do with it on the hammer, on the handle. Sorry. Throat's a little dry. But one thing, keep in mind, definitely keep in mind if you end up doing this stuff yourself, make sure to mark the spot that you want the blade to end at. It could definitely save you because I haven't done that on one of my things. It ends up becoming mostly blade, a lot less handle. Jeez, bless me. Now, I do have like these little pieces of a Carhartt, what's it called? Leash? Comment down below. Tell me what to do with them. I haven't the slightest idea. But I'm sure whatever you guys might come up with, it'll be pretty fun. Don't forget, once when you turn this thing off, turn off the propane too. You don't want to waste that propane. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you had a nice Christmas, and
Well, I'll see you in 2026.